Yeah.
But really, there's been a big gulf, hasn't there, between the haves and the have not so muches. Do you see that being the same, or do you see it being maybe similar but a few more groups this time around? Do you see it being more competitive?
I still see it being quite split, although my split is different, and I suppose my discussion about the quality of the squads might inform or might kind of illustrate where I think people are going to be. So I'm going to break it down for you. So I've got a top 5 as being clearly better than the others. So my top 5 are Toulouse, Featherstone, York, London, and Leigh. I think they'll break away from the other teams.
So I would be adding Widnes into that conversation,
which reflects what we just said about squad quality. I think you value it a little bit higher than I do. I then have a middle 2, which is Halifax and Widnes, who will probably win slightly more than they lose, but I don't think they will ultimately be pressuring the top 5.
I'd put Bradford into that bracket.
Yeah, you see, I think you're being more positive. I'm a bit more Eeyore about Bradford
right now. Is it because you don't play in Bradford anymore?
We're not Bradford anymore.
Exactly.
No, I genuinely think our squad is much, much worse than it was last year. I genuinely do.
But you've got a dual reg deal with Hull FC. That's already seen Josh Bowden. Quite a name. Regular in the Hull FC starting lineup over the last 10 years. You've seen him come in to be part of your squad in a friendly at the weekend. So, they'll be giving you some players.
Yeah, no, and to be fair, I have us coming next, but I have us at the top of the next group, if you like, which includes...
So I've got you at the bottom of the middle group, you've got you at the top of the bottom group.
Yeah, so I've got us, what's that, finishing 8th? Or is that 7th? 8th. So in that group with us, I've got Sheffield, Dewsbury and Batley. Now, Batley's a bit of a transition one for me. I think Dewsbury will be better than last year. I think they've recruited pretty well. I think their squad's looking notably better than it did last year. I think Sheffield will keep doing Sheffield-type things, overachieving based on what their squad is. And as I say, I think where we'll be, if we win as many as we lose, I think we'll have had a reasonable year. And then for me, the bottom 3...
The halfback combination at Dewsbury is fantastic. Paul Sykes and Liam Finn. I mean, they've got a lot of experience between them, but how much legs have they got left between them?
Well, not masses.
And Dom Speakman's at 9 as well. There's, tons of experience here, but I don't know how much they'll be able to go around. I think it relies too much on old guys playing a lot of games when Liam Finn hasn't been able to do that. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, I have them finishing blooming 10th. I mean, I'm not picking them to be pushing the top 5. But anyway, so I've got them in that kind of middle bit, and then I've got at the bottom all pretty much struggling all year. I've got Swinton, Oldham, and Whitehaven as my bottom 3 in that order. So I've got Whitehaven finishing bottom because I don't see their squad of having changed very much at all.
So I feel like Batley, Dewsbury, and Sheffield should be in the same group as those bottom 3, and I think people undervalue how good Ian Watson is at Salford in exactly the same way that they undervalue how good Stuart Littler is at Swinton. And you talk about off-season issues. It was more end of last season issues, wasn't it, really, with Swinton, when everything positive just about got seen through on the field when they were doing great. Lots of bad stuff started happening with the fans versus the board stuff off the field, but that got resolved, even though it might not be the most progressive resolution that some people would think or whatever. It's got resolved. A lot of the core of that squad from last year is actually back. Mike Butt, Jack Hansen, Rob Fairclough, Gavin Benyon, Luke Waterworth, Rodri Lloyd, Frankie Hatton, Will Hope, Billy Brickhill. These are all people that have been there. Oscar Thomas, And then they've added in some people that are decent players with a fantastic coach. I see Swinton, if they can do that, find one or two nuggets as well from the backwaters of the game, like they did with young Matty Ashton last year.
Yes.
They're just one nuggety signing away from, I think, being 10th rather than 14th or whatever. So I think they're in the same group, especially with Batley, who we've talked about. We're not hugely impressed with the recruitment, and then
I'd agree with that.
We have some worries about their age and ability to keep players on the field. I have to put them in the same group. Maybe I'm just positive about Swinton because I have a soft spot. Because I like them. I like some of the fans I've met over the years down there.
Yeah. Well, you see, you are definitely rose tinted, but at the same, by the same mark, I'm also rose tinted for the heavy woolen teams because that's my that's where I'm from.
Right.
So therefore, and also there are landlords. So
maybe the rents will go up if they go down. Yeah.
I don't want to be having that. No.
So, give us your 1 to 14 then. Obviously, okay. Toulouse are going up through the playoffs, but what's your 1 to 14?
1 to 14 is Toulouse, Featherstone, York, London, Lee, Halifax, Widnes, Bradford, Sheffield, Dewsbury, Batley, Swinton, Oldham, and Whitehaven. Fair
enough. At Shoddy and Mungo, if you want to have a few goes at him.
Yeah, if you want to run, at me. I've got to say, I wasn't a billion miles out last year. I was a bit too optimistic about Bradford, and I was too pessimistic about York last year. But I think I've seen the error of my ways with York. I think their upward trajectory is going to continue for me, particularly with a kind horse. I mean, how wrong can you go?
Where is he in the squad list, though?
I don't know.
I'm sure they signed him. Did they not sign him?
Hang on, he must be in my signing list. Hang on, he's right at the bottom.
On the squad list, so maybe they didn't sign him.
Yeah, well,
they've got him. It's signed on loan, but
it's officially a loan, isn't it?
Maybe they haven't been able to give the whole squad in the list that I'm looking at here. Maybe they've had to pick the star names out. But yeah,
he'll definitely be there.
Do you know who's the big things in there? I think Chris Brining is obviously a top player if he can get back to the sort of form he was showing in the Super League before he got. Did he get like an illness or something and have to step away from Salford? Something strange like that. And they've got Ben Johnston, haven't they, who's come in, who's a good halfback at that level as well. So yeah, there is interesting side, but I don't think they've got that much better. I think they're about the same. And you've got to remember they've signed James Green. That's going to be a lot of experience you're going to miss through suspensions throughout the course of a season.
Oh, he'll whack a couple. I mean, that's without question. Bloody hell, they got two players binned at the friendly on Sunday, so it's rubbing off already. But anyway,
so you haven't picked a surprise package there, really. What you've gone with is pretty much what most of the pundits are going with as well for the season. I don't know as well, surprise package wise, if there's anyone that's going to jump out. So I think the team that's going to surprise people is going to be Swinton again. It is what I just feel. I
mean, based on what happened towards the end of last year, resolved or not, stability in the league is complete success. So if Littler can deliver that and win a few games on the way, then all power to them.
Let's talk about some of the bigger names that are playing in the Championship this year. Some of these players will have played in the Championship already over recent years, but still, worth calling out. So where do you want to start out with this? Shall we start with York, because we've talked a bit about them just recently, and Danny Washbrook, very experienced player, has moved down to the Championship now to play for them, and Chris Clarkson also, and Jordan Baldwinson. So they're players who've played they've been in Super League squads the last few years. So that's quite a big coup for them, isn't it, to have those players move down into the Championship and be part of that side, or bring experience.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd point to Tompkins in at Widnes as well. That's probably no bad thing in terms of direction at 9.
Oh, it's a fantastic sign. And Matty Smith, of course, as well, for a player who can give them some good direction there. But yeah, that Logan Tompkins, how did we not talk more about that? Fantastic signing for Widnes. He should still be in Super League, I think, based on last year's performances. I don't know if Whitehaven have brought anyone in that's of that sort of level. Just looking through their squad list, because we're kind of going backwards here through these teams.
Yeah, might as well.
Other than Jamie Thackeray, how the hell's he come out of retirement again? But let's move on. Toulouse have brought in some really good Championship big names, I suppose, but Harrison Hansen has come in there, but they've also and Jai Hitchcock has moved across to there as well. They've retained Junior Vaivai, who moved down from the Super League to them last year. But Frank Winterstein, James Bell, these are guys who've played some high-profile matches in their careers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jai Hitchcock, so he did some good things for us. And, he could score an absolute bucketful outside that three-quarter line, if he can stay fit.
Yeah. Obviously, we talked a lot about Swinton and their sort of squad. Sheffield, we haven't talked a lot about Sheffield. I suppose Isaac Farrell is kind of going to solidify his place there as an option, as another option for them, and he's moved down from being at Huddersfield at the start of last season. I think they're going to have to rely on bringing some other people in though to show any sort of improvement.
Yeah, as usual with Sheffield, there'll be a bit of wheeler dealing and getting more out of players than you might necessarily think on paper anyway.
Yeah, Alden, we've talked a bit about Alden, but they brought in James Worthington, who was a Wigan junior, Lewis Charnock's there, of course, who was a St Helens junior, so they've got some star potential. Liam Bent and Danny Langtree being a couple of their standouts over the last couple of years as well, but no real big name signings. London. Now, in terms of bringing people in from the Super League, I suppose Tui Agodo from Castleford, but bigger, Corey Aston from Castleford. That could be big, couldn't it? That young halfback pairing.
Yeah, big time. And I think I was very much of the opinion that Aston didn't really get enough of a run at Cass. From what I saw, he looked good. So there's nothing to say that he won't be able to thrive in that environment. My only slight concern is that it's a new pairing, and there might be the usual, what do you call it? Growing pains that any new combination has. But Danny Ward managed to blend a partnership last year, so there's no reason to suspect that he can't do it this year.
Now, Lee have been very busy in the transfer market. Ryan Ince has come in from Widnes. Ben Reynolds has come back. Mark Iwani. He was a Super League player last year, of course, with London. I think he's going to be a big asset to their side. Same with Danny Addy, who's coming from Super League opposition. From a Super League squad into this Championship squad. So Lee have made some really good signings, but a lot of those signings are players experienced in the Championship who've had a taste of Super League and will want to get back.
Yep.
What about Halifax? Their biggest signing probably is Tom Gilmore, who obviously has come from another Championship side, but Keegan Hurst is there, who was a Super League player last year.
You can't get away from the world's fastest quantity surveyor. fantastic finisher, kind of able replacement for kind of Will Sharp, who they lost.
Good shout. Do you think he can be the top scorer in the Championship this year? Without a runaway